All right, so you're gonna come to the middle of your mats. And we're gonna start with a little bit of foot and ankle mobility here, because believe it or not, if some of the things that we do, our ankle mobility and our foot position really does affect that. It goes all the way up into the hips. So just take a quick second to glance down at your toes. Are they facing forward, first of all? Can you rock your toes, weight back into your heels and lift your toes up? And see if you can spread your toes wide, so you've got an equal weight distribution between your big toe and your baby toe, and then your heel. Good. And then from there, and just check your knee alignment. So your knees should be slightly bent here. So we don't want to straighten out too much, because that's going to put pressure on the low back. So just a little bend in your knee. And then your hip position as well. Let's take a quick peek at that hip position. Maybe just tilt your pelvis forward and back. And we're going to do this later on the ground and take it up into some bigger movements. But from the standing position, let's see if you can just tilt that pelvis forward and back. Good. Now we're going to tilt the pelvis forward and then bend the knees. Now you're going to not go very far, but that's okay. You don't want to push yourself too far just yet. And now push into the feet and straighten up tall. Let your hips come back to neutral. So let's try that a couple more times. Let's tilt the pelvis, bend the knees, put a little weight in those heels, and then push into the heels and straighten up tall. Let's try one more like that. A little tilt in the pelvis. That's going to turn that core muscle on, and then bend those knees. And then push into your feet and stand up nice and tall. Good. Now let's go to the outer edge of the foot. So outer edge, both feet can do it, or you can do one at a time if you feel off balance, and go to the inner edge. So outer edge and inner edge. And just notice what's happening in the hips when you do these movements with your feet. So as you're moving your feet to the outer edge, you should feel the turning on of those outer glute. And as you come to the inner edge, you feel that connection of that deep pelvic floor and inner thigh. So just being aware of those little things that are happening as you do that. Good. And then coming back to center. Now, let's keep a little bend in the knee here. And we're going to take one leg out to the side. So we're going to just do a side step and then pull that leg in. So hardly any weight in the leg that's stepping out. And most of the weight is in your balancing leg. And let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And transition back to standing tall. And then bend your knees, and let's do the other side. So stepping out and in, out and in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And standing up nice and tall. Good. Now we're just going to take it back. So again, still focusing on the hip joint, back and then in. So we're not doing a lot of load bearing yet, but we will be going, we will be working towards that. And 3, and 2, and 1. And come back and then stand tall. Inhale, exhale, bend those knees, and other side, stepping back and in. Just getting that leg nice and mobile. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to take a step forward. So standing nice and tall. Inhale here, and exhale, step, and then back. Almost like you're doing a lunge, but you're just transferring your weight to the front foot and then back into the back foot. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And make sure you're standing tall, feet side by side. Switch over to the other side. Just weight transfer to the front and then bring it back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And standing tall. Good. Okay, so that's most of our range of motion in our legs. So let's move up to the shoulders and the rib cage and that T-spine. So let's take those arms into internal rotation and then external rotation. So let them come forward and back. And you're just opening up that chest on the way back, opening the back on the way forward. So I don't want you to think just about your arms, thinking about that upper middle back as well. 4 more. And 3, Try 2 more like that. And last one. Now holding it back there, let's reach those thumbs away and get that chest to open up just a little bit more. Hold that stretch for a moment and then take it all the way forward so that the palms are out and the backs of the hands are reaching together. Inhale, press, 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 and then exhale, let your hands come down by your side. Good, so now we're gonna slide the one hand up towards the ceiling, open up through that shoulder, and then side bend. Inhale, come back up. We'll stay on that side for a couple more. Exhale as you reach. Inhale, come back, let that shoulder relax, and then exhale, reach again. And let's try one more like that. Relax the shoulder, exhale, reach. Now take the hand and reach towards the front 45. And then let the shoulder relax as you come down and around. Peeling yourself all the way back up to standing. Let's do the second side. So we reach that arm up. Come back and then just let the shoulder relax. And again, reach. And up, let it relax. And 2 more times. And notice I'm sliding my other hand down my thigh. So I'm staying connected. And on that last one, we're going to exhale and reach. And then take it all the way to the front 45. Let the arm relax down, bring it around and in front of you, and then roll your spine up. Okay, speaking of spine, let's see how the whole spine is moving. So start with a little chin nod. And remember, I was telling you in the beginning of class to think about the movements that you're doing standing and how they translate to the ground. So imagine you're laying on the ground and you're peeling yourself up. So we're going to only go as far as the upper shoulders. So let your upper arm bones hang. They're nice and relaxed. And then start to stack that spine. We're going to go lower as we do it, but I just want you to kind of section out the spine. So you'll find one part maybe feels a little stickier than the other. So take it down, exhale. Now see if you can come up a little bit or go down a little bit further. So now you're going into that mid back and just arms are just really relaxed. And then start to roll it up. Okay, going down a little further this time. Let your hands slide down the front of your legs. Roll yourself down. Good. And as soon as you start to feel tightness in your back, just soften your knees a bit more, and that should take that tension out, and then roll it back up. Okay, let's go all the way down this next one. Starting with your chin nod, exhale, roll yourself all the way down. Reach, reach, reach. Once you're down in the ground, let your arms relax. Maybe hold on to your elbows and let yourself kind of sway from side to side, just releasing any tension we have. And then roll yourself all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Lift the shoulders up, back and down. Okay, we're going to take those arms up towards a cactus arm position or 90-degree bend. Good, so bring those arms together, push the palms in towards each other, and then open it back up. So imagine you've got a little bit of weight in your hand here. So you're not just using momentum, you're really thinking about that upper middle back. Let's do 3 more. And 2. And last one. Good, now hold it here. And we're gonna just do a crossover. So going into that midline of the body now. So opposite knee comes up. I'm gonna cross that elbow and back. And then we switch. And switch. Switch. It's just the arm, you're just lifting your knee and the arm is rotating. You don't have to rotate your leg at all. 4 more. Exhale, 3 more. And 2. And 1. Good, now stand with your arms wide. Let the arms come down for a second, roll the shoulders back. All right, fixing your mat if you need to. All right, let's now go a little bit bigger. So we're going to do oppositional movement. Again, I'm going to take the arm like I'm doing a standing saw down towards the opposite toe. Inhale as I come back up. Exhale over to the other side. Come back up. Now add a knee bend to the side you reach on and bring it back. And reach. And back. Last 4. And 3. Exhale, 2. Can you hear my ankles cracking? And last 1, and bring it back to center. Okay, let those arms come down by your side. Walk it back in, All right, last oppositional movement, and we'll take it down to the ground. So now I'm going to take my left leg out to the side and my right arm up. So you're doing your Saturday Night Fever dance moves. Here we go. So we're exhale, reach, bring it back. Try to keep that toe barely touching the ground. Bend. If you want to make it more challenging, pick the knee up and reach. Or you can just tap it out. Try 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bringing that arm down. Other side, same thing. So you can do the tap version. And once you get that feeling of connection through the core, I want you to see if you can add the leg, pick it up, reach it over. So you're crossing that midline. 4, very nice. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, take a deep breath up, and exhale, dive all the way down. All right, you should be feeling nice and warm now. So let's come on down to our mat for some nice mat work. Let's see. Yeah, Catherine's gonna miss class this morning, but you know, she's very dedicated to her Pilates, so we're gonna send her the video today. All right, so let's start sitting before we go all the way down. Find the tops of your sits bones here. That might be moving the fleshy part of your glutes out to the side, so you can sit up nice and tall, and then wrap your hands underneath your knees here. So we're sitting right up with the crown of the head reaching towards the ceiling. And we're going to come back slowly and deliberately, about halfway. Go as usually the length of your arm is, that's how far you want to go back. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Let's do a couple more like that. Exhale, peel it back, start to turn on those abdominals, and bring it back. One more, and then we're going to test the strength in that core for stability. So hold that stability, let one arm go, and let the other arm go. Hold that position, reach one arm out, reach the other arm out. Bring the first arm in, and the other arm in, and then roll it up. So just the weight of your arm, you should feel a change in those core muscles. Okay, so if you're feeling your hip flexors, try straightening your legs out and see if that makes a difference. Take a breath in, a big breath. Now use your exhale to peel back. Lift one arm straight out and the other arm. And that might be enough. You can stay here, or you can reach one arm out and then the other arm out. Bring the first arm back and the second arm back, and then roll it up. Are your abs shaking like mine? Or just, no? Okay, one more. Roll it back. We're going to do an option to add the leg this time. Reach one arm, other arm, second arm, second arm. Now try one leg, try the other leg. Woo! Reach one arm back, reach the other arm back, and then slowly and deliberately roll all the way down. Let's pull those knees into your chest. Okay, so now that the core muscles are feeling nice and warm, let's take the hands by our side. Let's take the feet a little wider than hip distance. I'm going out to the outer edge of the mat here. Now your arms can come out to the 45 if you want. And we're going to take those knees down to one side. So the reason why I want you to try and keep your arms more to the 45 is so that you're getting that shoulder to stay on the mat as you do your hip sway. So let your hips sway from side to side. A couple things get in the way of us connecting to our core. One of them is tight hips, and the other one is what we think is tight back, but usually what's tight is the psoas muscle that's pulling in the lumbar. So not necessarily your low back, but that psoas comes through the low back and into your hip. So as much as we can, we're going to get those hips nice and mobile and walk it back in so you can access them. So take one leg up to tabletop. Now pull it in towards your chest, and then take the other leg and start walking it out. I want you to see if you can keep your foot down on the ground though. So you're not going to go to that full length. You're just going to open up the front of that leg a little bit. Good. Now You might not be able to go fully straight, but try to reach underneath, grab on that hamstring, and then start to lengthen that foot up. And if that feels challenging, remember you can modify by not straightening your leg all the way. But as you do this, the muscle should start to let go a little bit so you can do a nice full range of motion. Now hold that leg up there. Now just the ankle, let's point and flex the toe. And your hands are supporting that leg. So hopefully you're getting some nice support. And let's go for 3 and 2 and 1. Now walk your other leg back because we're going to use it for support. I'm going to give you 2 options for your leg circles today. You can use this option with your knee bent, so you're doing more of a hip stir. Or if you feel warm enough, keep the leg straight up, point your toe, and start circling that leg down and around. So this, if you're tall, if your legs are long, like I know Jen has really long legs, you're going to want to bend that knee because the weight of the leg is going to be a lot for the abdominals to accommodate. And then switch and go the other way. So you're getting that nice, deliberate circle. And sometimes taking that hand onto that opposite hip also helps assist. And then bring it all the way back up, nice and easy. Now pull that knee into your chest. You can let that other leg stretch all the way out. Let's bring this leg across. So we're going across the midline this time and let that glute stretch from the outside. And you might even feel this into your piriformis, so that little muscle that connects to your tailbone. Pull that knee up towards you, breathing in. And as you breathe out, let the tension release. And then slow and deliberate come back. Take the knee out to the outside. Let the hip open up. And again, that opposite hip, trying to keep it down. And then take your leg back to center and lengthen that leg out. Give them a shake and let's walk both feet back in. All right, moving on to side 2. Let's peel that knee up in towards you. Start to walk the bottom leg out a little bit. So you're getting an opening through the front of this hip and a little contraction through this other one. Now we're going to take the hands underneath those hamstrings, or I guess on top, underneath your knee, and start to stretch the leg up and down a few times. Whether you can go totally straight or not, the motion of bending and straightening the knee is a functional movement, right? Because when we walk, our knees are bending and then straightening. And let's do a couple more. And then option to hold that stretch there. We're going to go into that ankle bone now, pointing and flexing, getting all the joints nice and aligned. Couple more. And last one. Now hold on to that leg, walk the other leg in a little closer, and option to bend your knee now as you go into your circles. So take it out and around. And it is morning, so as you do your circle, you can take it from a smaller circle into a bigger circle, but it's kind of hard to go the other way. So just see where you're at with your leg circles. And then after you've done about 4 or 5 in one direction, go the other way. If you need to do more, do as many as you like. If this feels good, knee bent. Sometimes I like that version a little bit more, but this morning I want to challenge those core muscles a bit. And then bring that leg all the way back up. Now we're going to pull the knee in, stretch the other leg long, bring this leg across. Now that outer glute, we're going to stretch that out. Once the muscles are lengthened, then we can get into that strengthening. And then come back to center and then go to the other side. Take a breath in and see if you can release any tension you might inadvertently be holding on to. and then come back to center. Okay, so remember how we were talking about when you're on the ground, thinking about what you're doing is standing now, is we're going to translate it onto the mat. So let's warm up those core muscles a little bit more. Let's take the fingertips, interlace them behind your head. So like you were doing your roll down, we're going to lift the chin, knot it, and then start to peel ourselves up, sternum reaching up towards the ceiling. And then just come up to those shoulder blades. So you're looking towards your navel. And make sure that pelvis is staying nice and neutral, and then release. Now, let's add a little challenge to this morning. So this is your ab prep. So this should feel pretty good. Not too, hard yet. Now, here's the challenge I'm going to ask of you. When you come up, see if you can stabilize through that pelvis. So if you're coming up, just as an example, sometimes I'll see people come up and they try to come up higher, but as soon as that happens, their pelvis tilts towards them. Okay, so then it becomes a back exercise. So I'm going to really just challenge you to keep that pelvis down. So feel like your tailbone is heavy, and then bring it back. Exhale. Oh, and then the other thing, don't go all the way down. Just stay in a little bit of a hover. Okay, so we're going to add on to this. Take a break if you need to. We're going to go up, reach the hands towards the knees, come up a little bit higher. So use the fingertips to grab onto those legs, and then bring the hands back to the head and roll it down. I'm just going to try 3 more of those. So exhale, lift. Exhale a little bit more, reach towards those hammies, pull yourself up, and then inhale, let it go. And use your exhale. Keep a little exhale in there and go a little bit deeper. Reach, reach, reach. Bring the hands back and lower it down. Okay, last time. Exhale. Reach. Pull up a little bit more, just a centimeter or 2, and then down and rest. And that should really have turned on those abdominals. Okay. So now let's think about the other part of our body. So we want to go glutes and low abs and hamstrings here. So really press into your feet. Remember, like you're standing up. And as you do that, start to tilt your pelvis towards you. So we're just going to move the opposite way now. And see if you can tilt your pelvis and lift those hips up. And then when you come down, reverse engineer it. So you're coming down through the mid back first, and give yourself a nice little stretch through those spine extensors. Okay, spread those feet wide, really press into the feet, and that's going to help you energize the back body. And bring it back. It's easy to, use momentum, but if you're being thoughtful, you're going to feel this chain of muscle connection. And then roll it back down. Okay, last one, and we're going to stay on this one. Exhale as you lift. Good. Now lift one leg up to tabletop. Really press into the other foot and down. So you're just doing a march and then switch. But let that other foot really help you. So as you lift one foot, I'm really thinking about the foot that's on the ground, and the foot that's lifting should feel fairly light. I'm hoping. Try 3 more. And 2. And 1 more. Good. Now, as your hips come down, you're going to let your head, neck, and shoulders peel up. Good. And now reverse engineer that. Roll your head down and let your hips lift up. And let's do that 2 more times. Hips roll. Shoulders peel up. Head, neck, and shoulders. Reach, reach, reach with those hands. Roll it down and then roll the hips up. Last time. Exhale. Now hold that position with the head, neck, and shoulders. Reach your hands behind you. Now let's add the march as we do our abdominal curls. So we're curling up and marching one leg. Your hips are down. Don't lift your hips up. That would be almost like levitating if you did that. Let's go. 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Good. Now let's take it into a crisscross. So pause for a second. We're going to just alternate sides. So we cross the midline with the elbow and come all the way down. Cross the midline, lift that leg up and cross. 4 more. And 3. Exhale, 2. And last one. And bring it down. Good. All right. Let's take those legs up to tabletop. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys today to keep your head down for this one. So we're going to tap one toe and try not to arch the spine. So that's the work that we're doing. Keeping those arms behind your head for support. We'll lift our head eventually, I promise. But just as you're doing your toe taps, I want you to think low belly muscles here. And if you're like me and you're tight across that low back, this is going to be work to try and keep that back from overarching. And 2 more. And last one. Hold your legs at tabletop, reach around, grab the legs, pull yourself up into a nice little ball here, roll it back and forth. Okay, so option 2, keep your head supported with your hands, but we're going to go into single leg stretch, and we're going to do the traditional one. So single leg stretch, I'm going to hold the knee and then reach for my ankle as the other leg lengthens, and then we're going to switch and switch and switch. So as you're doing this, I'm really thinking about that extra little reach at the end of my leg. 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Are we getting some heat in those core muscles? Rest for a quick second here. Rock it back and forth. You want to have that muscle release in between. Now let's take the hands behind the head, and we're going to go into your crisscross. So we cross over just like we did, but now the legs are in tabletop. And switch. And switch. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it back to center. All right, now we're going to do 8 double time, which means a little quicker with our pace. So come all the way up, and here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wrap around those hands onto your legs, roll it all the way down. Good, let's take those feet down onto the mat. Okay, we're gonna save the other rest of that abdominal series for later on. Let's come onto your sideline position and wrap that bottom hand under your head so you have the support. And just take a second to make sure your hips are stacked and knees are stacked in front of you. So we're going to start with a nice opening through the chest. So let's take that top arm back and then all the way back to your start position. Couple more times. And try one more like that. Good. Now this time when you come forward, see if you can go around, circle that shoulder, then open the chest, bring it past your hip and back to your start position. And let's try 2 more circles. Reaching the arm. Really thinking about the shoulder on this one. And last one. Inhale. Let that chest open. And exhale as you bring it back. Good. Now let's place that hand right beside you in front of your chest to balance. And see if you can straighten your legs out. Now, if this feels unstable, you can bend that bottom knee. Okay, so just know that this is an option. And if you feel any pressure on your lower hip, I would recommend bending that knee because it takes some of the pressure off of the hip. All right. So if you're here in a straight line or bent knee, whatever, we're going to focus on the top leg now. Point your toes and lift it up, flex, and then squeeze to lower it down. So on the lift, we're thinking outer thigh. And on the lower, we're thinking inner thigh. Lift, flex, and down. point, flex. And this is like that side step we did in the warm up. 2 more. And last one. Good. Now we're going to lift it up and hold it there. Let's reach that arm. If you can balance, take the arm overhead, lower the leg down. Lift the arm up, reach the toe. And down. And reach. We're just taking that arm overhead and then straight up in front of you. And 2 more. And last one, reach around, grab the hip, pull the heel in towards your bum, and then stretch it back. So think about the hamstring here now. A little bit more back body. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, let's give it a little stretch. Grab that heel, reach it back. Lengthen out that leg. Holding that stretch, see if you can find a bit more length, and then we'll stack those knees together and press it up. Okay, so from here, we're going to keep the legs glued together like one unit right now. Okay, so we're going to come up and see if we can lift that hip off of the ground, reach that arm up and over. Now, if you did the first one and this arm said, "What the heck are you doing to me?" You got to bring it a little closer to your body. Okay, so walk that arm so it's in line with your shoulder. And I'm not relying on this arm to help me as much as I'm relying on the strength in my core and my glutes to lift. We're going to reach that arm overhead and bring it up. Now, if this feels good and you think you can go a little bit more, I want you to see if you can lengthen that top leg. So reaching the top leg as you reach the top arm and then bring it back. You can still do the same motion with the hips together. So just play with what works for you. 2 more. And last one here. So wherever you're at, we're going to take that top hand, bring it underneath, rotate, and then reach it up towards the ceiling. Let's do 2 more. Rotate, reach it up, and last time, rotate, and reach it up. Good, and bend, and come all the way back. Let's take that top leg, swivel yourself around, and bring that leg across. Now I want to hug it into the chest, but I also want to take my hip onto the ground. So I'm not pulling that hip, well, I should say sit bone. And just rotate over that leg. If you want to go deeper, take your same side hand, reach it behind you like a kickstand, so you're propping yourself up nice and tall. Open up that chest, and then bring it all the way back. Okay, one more little stretch, and then we'll go on to side 2. So just grab the knee and the foot, and start to bring it towards you. If that's enough of a stretch, you can stay there. Or you have the option of bending that bottom leg. And then I'm going to just reach my chest towards my knee or my thigh here. Sitting up nice and tall. And then exhale, start to walk that bottom leg back out and stretch both legs side by side. Good. Nice spine stretch. Take it all the way forward with those hands towards the toes. And then let the hands come all the way back up the legs. Good. Okay, let's come on to side 2 for your side leg series. We started with a nice bent leg position and going into that shoulder. Make sure you're propped up with that bottom arm underneath you. So the first couple, we're just going nice and easy. I'm not taking the arm all the way down. We're just getting a stretch across the chest and that very tight trap in behind you. Last one here. Good. Now we're going to take it into a circle. So let's start to reach the fingertips across the head, over, behind, across the hip and back. Inhale, lengthen up and around. And those legs are there to kind of anchor you so your whole body doesn't go. You're trying to keep it in your upper body. I know that's harder to actually do. Last one. And then bring that hand down on the ground beside you, and let's try straightening those legs out. Again, remember, you can bend that bottom knee. That gives you a little bit more support and takes the pressure off of your hip. Okay, so we're going to start with that top leg lifting up, flexing, and lowering it down. Now, really think about those smaller muscles as you're lifting your leg up, so the big muscles aren't taking over. It's really interesting, like when you start to look at strength training, having the big muscles is one thing, but having strong supporting muscles around the joints is huge. Like it's a game changer, it really is. 2 more. And last one. Good. Now we're going to hold that leg up there, reach the hand overhead. So you have the arm and leg. As I lift the leg, I'm going to reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And you feel that a little more in those obliques, hopefully. And reach. Making it a little more challenging by adding the arm. 3. Exhale. 2. And 1. Take your hand onto your hip. And now we're going to bend that heel in and out. Now, this is a little harder to balance with your leg straight, so feel free to bend that bottom knee. I will, thank you very much. And exhale, 2, little squeeze at that top. Good, let's try 1 more. I'll reach around and grab that leg and pull it back. So more than pulling the leg back, I really want to think about the length from the hip to the knee, reaching away from me. And then if you can't feel that stretch for whatever reason, let's flex the foot and see if that changes the stretch a little bit for you. And then bring those legs back together. You're going to prop yourself up, walk your hand in a little closer. Okay, so again, think about your alignment so you're not putting a lot of weight in this arm. Let's take the outside hand out to the side and squeeze and lift and bring it back. You have the option of taking that leg out. I'm not going to today. Today, this feels just right for me. Right? And it changes from day to day. Some days you feel a little stronger. Some days, not so much. Last 2. And last 1. Good. Now, sorry, we're going to stay up. We're going to rotate and open. Exhale, rotate. And lengthen. And just 2 more like that. Reach, last 1, rotate. Reach it up, let the hips come down, and then let's take that top leg all the way across. Cross it over and pull that knee into your chest. Good. Okay, so today I want to finish up with a little bit more challenging exercise, and that's going to be our plank to push up. I'm going to give you lots of modifications, but we're going to just challenge that upper body strength a little bit more today. So take a breath in. Please stay online and do your little supportive. I have a friend who she's like says to me, you know, if you can teach me how to do a good push-up, I'll be your friend forever. Because she has this myth that, you know, her upper body is too weak. And I think I'd like to debunk that myth. All right, so let's come back to, I'm just fixing my ponytail here. We're going to come to all fours. And that's where we're going to start with the combo that we're going to do. So the weight of your body is going to be mostly behind you, okay? But half of your body weight is going to be in your hands and in your shoulder girdle, but mostly your core. So just take a second here to see if you can widen your position of your hands, and then let your elbows come out to the side and let your elbows bend so you're coming down. And your butt can just stay. Just let your butt stay. Just do this little push up. This should feel Not too bad, right? So that's the chest push up. We're going to try one more. Elbows are wide, and then bring it back in. Now walk your hands back under your shoulders, and then just take them a little bit forward. Now we're going to bend the elbows and see if we can touch the forearms to the mat, and then push back up. Keep that core strong, lower it down. And now you're doing your triceps, the backs of your arms. And up. 3 more. And 2. And last one. Okay, so now go back to your wide angle position. Hold that core belly in by just tucking the tailbone. So I'm going to exaggerate the movement. I'm tucking that tailbone down. Now lengthen one leg back and the other leg back. Holding your plank position, inhale. Exhale, take the first knee down and the other knee down. Now walk your hands in, come down to your forearms. And again, tuck that tailbone and then lift one leg and the other leg. Inhale and exhale. Head is looking right at your hands. Take one knee down and the other knee down. Walk it back up. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Wide angle for those hands. Lift one leg and then the other leg. Hold that position. Now see if you can soften your elbows a little bit. Feel your chest muscles turn on when you do that. We're holding it for one more breath. Exhale and take your knees down. Good. We'll do a stretch after this last one. Come back to forearms. Place your weight forward and then take those legs back one at a time. So we're going to try and do 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. You can press your palms together. This is the last challenging thing we're doing today. Last one. Touch your knees down. Push back. Nice long child's pose. Reach your hips back and your hands forward. And let's do a little shoulder stretch here. Take one arm underneath you and reach your hand out. Now, Courtney and Diana, we were talking, I don't know if you heard about next month, we're putting together a little challenge, personal Pilates challenge. So I'm going to send out that information to you. It's just a way of taking your fitness up to a different level and then roll your spine up, take your hip forward, or sorry, your foot forward, and let's come into a nice hip flexor. If you can, with your pets around, let's reach that hand up towards the ceiling and then just open that chest one more time. Molly, and then bring it all the way back. Jen's dog is hanging out with her now. Switch the legs, other leg is forward, take your hips, reach it forward, and then reach that arm up and open the chest. Good, take a breath in here, and then come all the way back to center. Let's place the hands down by the feet, curl the back toe under, and lift yourself all the way up to standing. Take a second here to really push your feet into your mat. Lift up halfway, and then stretch your hamstrings out. And then on your next exhale, I'm going to get you to bend your knees as deeply as you can, and then start to roll your spine up. Once you're standing tall, lift those shoulders up, back, and down, and just let yourself ballistically stretch the arms forward and cross one over and then the other. And you guys are done. I hope you enjoyed that little functional movement class with a bit of pushing up at the end. And hopefully you have a wonderful day. Not having to shovel too much snow out there.